Aloha. The road to Hana on the beautiful island of Maui is one of the most scenic drives in the entire world. You never quite know what you're going to see out here. There are beautiful waterfalls everywhere, and amazing new views seemingly around every corner. However, it can also be one of the most frustrating and even dangerous drives in the entire world if you are unaware of a few basic rules of the road. I'm making these videos in the hope that you will get more enjoyment out of your trip to Hana and that there will be less hard feelings on the road in between all of the drivers. This video is a result of talking to the locals of Hana to find out what annoys them the most about non-local drivers and my own experiences. Once upon a time, back in New York State, I was a certified driving instructor, and I don't know of any other certified driving instructor from any state that came out here and earned a living on this road driving full-time. And I had to learn how to drive this road like a local, and so I can teach you how to do it too. I've assembled a ton of great tips to help you drive the road to Hana safely, but if you aren't going to watch the whole video, here are the main points. Rule number 1 of the road to Hana is always pull over for faster traffic. Rule number 2 of the road to Hana is always pull over for faster traffic. We wouldn't need rule number 2 if everyone observed rule number 1.
Let's get together and feel alright.
Also, you want to respect private property and not trespass. And the third and final thing is to please wash off all sunscreen before entering either freshwater waterfalls or the ocean. It's really damaging the ecosystem here. So those are the quick tips, but here's the real meat and potatoes of the video. These in-depth tips will keep you safe on the road to Hana. Tourists always wonder why the locals want them to pull over. There's only one lane for 50 miles, with dozens of pullouts on each side, and if you're driving 10 miles an hour at the head of a long line of people, you aren't going to be making very many friends. The local people can and do drive this road very fast, and they aren't sightseeing. They're on their way to work, or to a doctor's appointment, or on their way home from the store with their melting ice cream, and you're holding them up. You're just sightseeing, on vacation, literally just cruising. Now, I'm from New York originally, so I understand the mainland mentality. No one ever wants to let anyone pass them. But over on the mainland, you have at least 2 lanes everywhere, and it's a lot easier to get around people. So don't be mainland. And definitely don't beep at people, and definitely don't give the middle finger to anyone out here. Those are considered very aggro moves here in Hawaii, and you might get in a fight. You can see here, the guy in front finally gets it and pulls over, and then the guy behind him just keeps driving like nothing happened. And the local truck is really frustrated now. This is just causing an incident. Clearly the guy wants to get around you, so just let him go. Why would you try to cause a fight in some place that you're visiting? If someone comes up behind you fast, don't try to drive faster and think that you're going to beat them. It's just silly to think that on the first time driving the road that you're going to drive it faster than someone who grew up here and has driven it every day of their life. The locals know where to pass you where you aren't going to expect it. So you're better off just pulling over in the first place. In addition to the pullouts, there are 54 one-lane bridges with yield signs. These yields can also function as a pullout, allowing you to wave faster traffic by, but only do this for 1 or 2 cars, not a long line. And be sure not to wave others into oncoming traffic that probably won't understand what's happening. Keep in mind that these are yield signs, not stop signs. Local drivers will not stop, they'll keep the momentum going. You can really tell a scared tourist driver because they will come to a complete stop at every yield, even when there's clearly no traffic coming on the other side. Please don't drive like this, or if you are going to, definitely let everyone go by you first. This will absolutely make everyone behind you a lot happier. Most of these bridges are one-lane areas, so you really have to be careful and look ahead. Look for the yield signs on the sides of the road and the triangles painted on the ground. Some of the areas are wide enough for 2 cars, but don't assume that they all are. This is especially true where the line stops in the road. This indicates that the road is getting thinner, so be careful. If someone's already in a thin spot, don't just keep going forward without first checking to make sure you have the space. If you try to push your way forward against a local driver, more than likely you will be forced to back up until you find a wide enough spot so that you can both pass. Don't expect the local driver to back up. Look ahead and think ahead to prevent problems before they even start. A very similar concept to thin lanes on the road to Hana is dealing with the large truck traffic that you will see. As soon as you see the truck or large vehicle, you need to assess the situation, find the widest spot on the road, and get as far to the right as possible, as quickly as possible. Don't just slam on your brakes and stop where you are, because that's probably not the correct location. Again, we really got to think ahead to minimize problems. I'm currently producing a full video on how to deal with large truck traffic out here on the road because it is a difficult situation sometimes, especially now the road is under construction 5 days a week. So you will see these large trucks out here. Also, sometimes there is a warning truck out in front of large, slow-moving equipment. Or you may unexpectedly come across the mowers cutting down the jungle on the side of the road. So just always be aware and ready. Now we get to some of the fun stuff that you would think is very different, but you actually treat it very similarly to the yields and the thin spots. When you come across natural disasters such as landslides or downed trees, react the same way that you would at a yield sign. Look ahead, plan your path, commit to it, and get through the dangerous area as quickly as possible. Don't hang out near the slide and take pictures. This is very dangerous. More rocks or trees could come down at any moment. I've personally helped people cut trees with chainsaws out here and throw them over the edge, but I wouldn't recommend taking up amateur lumberjacking on your family vacation to Maui. Just chill out, wait for the county workers to arrive and clean it up. If you are the first person on the scene, you may actually have to call the county yourself. If you don't have reception on your cell phone, you may have to drive back to a blue call box or to a place where you get reception. There are little mile markers all along the road, so if you ever have to report an accident or a landslide, make note of which mile marker you are near. In addition to the downed trees and the landslides and the flooding that rain can bring, it can also present serious traction problems from standing water in the road, or wet leaves or wet smashed fruit. It gets very slippery. And you add in 617 curves and it can get gnarly real quick. Definitely use extra caution when traveling to Hana in inclement weather. In terms of non-driving tips, we've already gone over respecting private property, but this also includes respecting signage at parks and beaches. Also, I'd like to touch a little bit more on the sunscreen issue. Some of these waterfalls, especially around the K&I area, feed local crops. So when you enter the waterfall with sunscreen on, you are literally poisoning the food of the locals. Just something to think about. Some other quick tips are to stop and get ginger candy or ginger ale before you head out. This will settle your stomach on the road because people get motion sick all the time. It's a very windy road, and that's why the locals will drift over the yellow lines to straighten the drive out, but don't do this because you don't know where to do this yet. My final tip will be familiar to boxers. Protect yourself at all times. I wouldn't recommend being a pedestrian out here because it's a highway. So I understand that it's beautiful and that it's Hawaii and that you are on a special trip, but still take care. You don't want to lose your life over a picture. Hopefully this is enough knowledge to provide you with a safe and memorable trip to Hana. But it's not a comprehensive list. I will be adding more content to the webpage and to the YouTube channel, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Mahalo and aloha.